guys, it's Nasim here. Now, after using the iPhone 12 for almost 2 years now, the one thing that kept coming to my mind after using it on a day-to-day basis was this simple statement that I think explains the 12 pretty perfectly. And that statement is, I think that the iPhone 12 is just as good as the iPhone 13. And I say this because when it comes to specs and user experience, both the 12 and 13 are basically the same exact phone that do the same exact things. They both have really great displays that give you the same viewing experience. They both have really powerful chips that can handle power heavy apps. They both have an amazing software that will be able to update for up to 6 years. And both phones have top tier cameras that can give you high quality pictures and videos. And even though you have small differences like the 13 having a little bit more camera features, the 12 is still a heavy hitter that can compete and is still worth it in 2022. And even though I still love the iPhone 12 and can argue that it can still compete, I wanted to let you guys in on my experience with it and help you decide whether or not it's a great phone for you. Now, the first thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to the iPhone 12 is the software experience. Now, something that I really liked about the iPhone 12 was how well it was able to run the latest version of iOS. Like while I was on my 12, I was using iOS 15.5 and it handled just as smooth as my 13. There were no lags, everything felt buttery smooth, and it gave me a very new feeling despite being 2 years old. The 12 was also able to handle power heavy apps really well, surprisingly. Whenever I would play power heavy games, I rarely got any lags. Also, whenever I was using my Google Maps, the phone would get hot and the software was still working just fine, opposed to other phones that freeze and completely shut down on me. But besides that, it still had those premium iOS features like the ability to connect to different devices at ease, iMessage, FaceTime, and all of the premium iOS apps that many people use. And overall, it still had that iOS smoothness that I rarely got any bugs with, and it was a joy of using. And if you are considering getting this phone, then you can still run power heavy apps and do what you like without having to sacrifice anything. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to the iPhone 12 is the display. Now, the iPhone 12 has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display that in person has no differences from the 13. And something that I liked about the 12 was how it felt. The smoothness was something that I noticed was still apparent nearly 2 years later, and scrolling through the OS felt effortless for me and I had no hiccups along the way. I also really liked that it had the same size display as the 13 and 13 Pro, which made the viewing experience much better whenever I would watch videos on it. I loved how I had no trouble seeing anything, even if the screen was farther away, and I appreciate how it wasn't too big to the point where it was a struggle to grip it with one hand. The responsiveness was very smooth and precise, and like a lot of older iPhones, I didn't get any lags whenever I made a command on the display, and I wasn't really surprised that it kept up well even after 2 years. The brightness was okay at best if I'm being honest. Like, it was good for an iPhone, but when you compare it to a Galaxy or any other Android phone, I will say that it didn't get as bright, especially when I was outside. Again, I still could see when I turned it on max brightness, but the competition out there is just much better. Now, the last thing that I liked about the iPhone 12's display was that the overall viewing experience was really good. The resolution was sharp, the colors were vibrant yet realistic, and the size was big enough to make it a really great experience. And to show you guys what I mean, here's an example of me playing a game and watching a video.
And he hits it! Very high on Clarkson. That was before his great rookie year. Take away off the turnover. Here's Kobe. He's got 10 now.
Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to the iPhone 12 is the battery. Now, when it came to the battery on the iPhone 12, I will usually get around 5 to 7 hours of on-screen time a day, and the battery was still able to last me all day, even when I was using power-heavy apps. So if you're someone who does like the game on your phone, the battery will last. I will usually end my day with about 20 to 30% battery whenever I didn't game on it, and if I did game on it, I will usually end my day with about 10 to 20%, which was still really good if you ask me. The charging was also pretty fast like any other iPhone, and whenever I used my 20-watt fast charger, I would plug my phone up for a short amount of time whenever I needed juice, and I would get enough to finish strong throughout the night. And when compared to the 13, the charge times and battery life were pretty much the same. So overall, I will say that the battery on the iPhone 12 was really good. And if you're someone who is looking to get the 12 in 2022, then this phone will last you all day with no problems, even if you're using power heavy apps. And now the next thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to the iPhone 12 is the speakers. Now, again, comparing the 12 to the 13, I will say that the speakers were pretty much the same. The bass was still a little weak, but that's a common problem within iPhones and most smartphones as a whole. But besides the bass not being that great, I would still say that the overall sound quality was really good, the music was nice, videos were loud and clear, and the speakers overall enhanced my viewing experience because they were just so good. And to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound, I'm going to play a video so that you could just see how loud they are. And now the final thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to the iPhone 12 is the cameras. Now, just like on almost every iPhone, the iPhone 12 has a two 12 megapixel camera system that was pretty much the same when compared to the iPhone 13. I was still able to get good photos no matter how harsh or nice the environment was. Like right here, you can see my outside daytime photos, and I would say that these were really good pictures that turned out really well. The skies were very vibrant yet color accurate. The trees and other aspects of nature were very sharp. My face looked pretty color accurate, especially when compared to last year's version where it will look light at times, and the overall vibrancy of the outside pictures were pretty great to no surprise. And when we look at the inside daytime photos, I would say that these were also really great. Like right here, you can see that there was no graininess no matter how dark it got, and my selfies were top notch when compared to other flagships. The quality got much better, the sharpness was still great, and the colors were very accurate, which redeemed the camera overall. And when it came to video quality, the 12 had one of the best to offer. And to give you guys an example, here are some videos that I took on it. And there it is, my review on the iPhone 12 after almost 2 years of use. Now let me know down in the comments, would you still get the iPhone 12 over the iPhone 13 or possibly the iPhone 14? Let me know. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe, it'll be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.